Hello, class.
Hello, teacher.
What's the name of this story? Alice?
A trip to the emergency room.
A trip to the emergency room. There's also a subtitle. What's the subtitle, Emily?
Who works in the emergency room?
Right, who works in the emergency room? So we're going to find out who you meet at the hospital. What kind of story is this? Brian?
Non-fiction article.
Non-fiction article. Non-fiction is real or not real? John?
Real.
It is real. Okay. Also, we're going to learn about sequence words. First, then, next, finally. Okay. So, Emily, can you read first, please?
Oh no, you have a broken bone. Where do you go? To the hospital emergency room, of course. The emergency room can be a busy place. Ambulances and people arrive there during the day and night. People are brought there if they have a serious medical problem. Doctors and nurses work in the emergency room. Their job is to help people who are sick or hurt. Other people work there too. They help keep the hospital running properly. Let's meet some of the people who work in the hospital emergency room.
All right, good job. All right, who would go to the emergency? Why would you go to the emergency? John?
If they have a serious medical problem.
Right, someone who has a serious medical problem. And who works in the emergency room? Darren?
Doctor.
Doctors, right? And what else? Doctors and Alice? And nurses, right. What do they do? What do doctors and nurses do in the hospital? Evan?
They help people who are sick or hurt.
Good. All right. So, who's our next reader? John.
The first person you see in the emergency room is an admissions worker. The hospital needs to keep track of the patients coming into the emergency room. The admissions person checks you in. The adult who is with you will fill out hospital forms. The forms ask for your personal information and why you came to the hospital.
Okay, all right. So, what does an admissions worker do? Emily?
They ask you why you come to the hospital.
Right. They ask you why you came to the hospital. And what else do they ask you? Go ahead, Emily. Finish.
How can you pay?
How can you pay? Okay. How can you pay? That's one thing. They also want to know what, Evan?
Name.
Name, right? Personal information. Your name, where do you live? But yes,
number.
definitely they want to know
Phone number.
if you have money. Okay.
Phone number.
And your phone number, right. Personal information. Okay, next page. Darren, can you read for us, please?
Next, the nurse will help you. A nurse's job is to find out about your injury and ask you questions about your health. The nurse will take your temperature and blood pressure and record this information on a chart. The nurse informs other people in the hospital about your problem.
Okay, good reading. All right, so what does a nurse do? When you meet a nurse, what does she want to know? Alice?
Find out about your injury and ask you questions about your health.
Right, good. She wants to find out about your injury and learn more about you. What are some ways she can learn more about you, Evan?
The nurse takes your temperature and blood pressure and records information on a chart.
Okay, so she takes your blood pressure and your temperature and records it on a chart for who? Who's going to look at this chart? Anybody know? Who looks at the chart? Yes.
Doctor.
The doctor, right. So this is for the doctor later. All right, so next paragraph. Alice, can you read, please?
Then you will meet an elderly or nurse's aide. That person will help you get around in the hospital. She will take you to the correct department if you need to get tests done. She may use a wheelchair to take you from one area to another.
Okay, good job. Who can tell me, what does the orderly do? Or some of us call them aides. What do they do? Anyone know? Emily?
If
Go ahead. Who?
She will take you to the correct department if you need to get tests done.
Okay, good. So she or he will bring you around in a wheelchair and bring you to wherever you need to go in the hospital. All right, let's go. Last page here. Evan, can you read, please?
Last, it's time for the doctor to examine you.
Examine.
Examine you. The doctor checks your injury. He also looks at your chart. He arranges for you to get an X-ray if you need one. The doctor knows how to fix your broken bone. He will probably put on a cast so the bone will heal. The doctor also decides whether you need to stay in the hospital or if you can go home right away.
All right, good. So, if you had a broken bone, what would the doctor do? What would he do first? Darren, what would the doctor do first?
The doctor checks your injury.
Right, so he checks your injury. He wants to get more information and know what to do. What does he do next? Emily?
He arranges for you to get an X-ray if you need one.
All right, so next he gives you an X-ray. What about then? Then what does he do? See, I'm using sequence words here. What does the doctor do for you after that, after you get an X-ray? Evan?
He will probably put on a cast so the bone will heal.
All right, good. All right, so the last paragraph. Brian, can you read, please?
So don't worry if you need to go to the emergency room. Now you know about the people.
Now you know.
Now you know about the people who work there and how they will help you feel better.
Okay, all right, so we learned sequence words through this story. So we've met 4 different people. Can anybody use sequence words and tell me who you meet in a hospital room when you go to an emergency room? Okay, Emily?
First, I get checked into admissions worker.
Okay.
Next, I meet a nurse. Then, I met an orderly.
Orderly.
Mm-hmm. Finally, I meet the doctor.
All right, good job. All right, so we can use sequence words and tell a whole story with that. All right, everyone say bye-bye.
Bye-bye!